This is a free podcast from the BBC. For more information, you can go to our website, bbc.co.uk/Radio 2.
Now imagine the scene, if you will, says Shona Moore. No. You're walking along, it's a lovely evening, and to your dismay, you'll find yourself accidentally strolling into a TV studio where Gordon Ramsay is doing a live cooking. Taking an hour to do steak and chips with a simple fried starter and a pud. An hour? This and all the padding required to fill an hour. Don't tell us about anybody who watches MasterChef knows about padding. Required to fill an hour leaves you stunned. The language alone makes you weaken. To whom can you turn? I'm pleased to offer an insurance policy which will pay out big money in all such eventualities. For a simple premium of £10 a month, you're insured for all celebrity cookery programmes, X Factors and one and onlys. Apply now. TV chefs swear by it. Well, those who wish to apply, of course. I can't advertise, naturally. I shall let you have the address. What's going on in that parallel universe they call Albert Square? Oh, I don't know. What's going on? Where's Phil gone? Where's his son gone, a little chap? Where's he gone? What's all this passion for fancy dress? In the last week, yes, somebody's got fancy dress into their head. One of the scriptwriters has gone slightly barking. Bill Innsgate says, the last week we've had Gypsy Mo Slater, Roy Minty Rogers, and red T-shirts all round. I think a directive must have gone out saying, can we lighten it up, please? What's next, and who's next for the stupid outfit? Billy and Honey as Popeye and Olive Oil? Yeah, good casting. Or maybe Heather as the Michelin Man. And if Kevin wasn't brown bread, they'd have dressed him up as Long John Silver by now. I've got a bit of poetry about it. So you've had the farmhouse breakfast. What can be coming next? Some clotted cream 11s to keep your chompers flexed. And then perhaps a pasty, all full of meat and spuds, whether made in Devon or Cornwall. They're not duds. And then, of course, mid-afternoon, a cream tea won't dismay. And then some lovely hominy pie to finish off the day. Do you know, Katie Mallet, if I knew what a hominy pie was, I'd agree with you. And there's more. Mrs. Bacon in a Bap says, her leaving was always in secret. She adopted a fleece as disguise. Now, where would our daughter be going before we could open our eyes? She'd mutter about getting breakfast. The man on her list would do well. But why did she leave here so early? How could we possibly tell? And then all of a sudden I got it. I tuned into Radio 2 and heard of the breakfast at Terry. And the truth was, yes, it's coming to you. My daughter delivered your breakfast to start off a week so divine. So, Terry, you must be so special. If only that treat could be mine, it can't be yours. It's me. It's my... Oh, stop waving that rasher of bacon at me in a tempting fashion. It's, Good Cod, Great Grimsby Day, which is on the 22nd of January, and to celebrate it, they've sent us fish finger botties. There is a limit, you know, and I think we might be pushing quite close to it. I just thought you might like to share a moment of disbelief. No, I have a moment of disbelief here every hour on the hour. Conjured up by the football commentator on Radio 5 Live last night. During the Man United game, the commentator was describing a free kick taken by Ronaldo. He places the ball as carefully as Johnny Wilkinson, takes a few paces back and stands legs akimbo. Now, says Monty, that's a good trick if you can do it, standing with your legs on your hips and elbows sticking out. It's a symptom. It is a symptom of today. People say things like, it's a big ask. When no golfer scores anymore, they card. And jockeys no longer ride horses, they are on board. Well, it's like wine specialists, you've got to think of something new. You can't just keep saying wet, dry or sweet. Now, thanks for the mention of the British Council in Kathmandu. Well, British Councils, I imagine, feel a certain amount of embattlement at the moment, particularly with the Ruskies. But in Kathmandu, all is well. Nick and Gorgie are getting married in 2 weeks, so bless them. Good. A little cold at the moment in Kathmandu, but not as cold as in London. I'm beginning to believe Al Gore. So, research shows that pregnant women shouldn't even think about drinking coffee. I know, and I heard a woman yesterday properly say, for goodness sake, can we give it all a rest? You can't eat this, you can't eat that, you can't drink this, you can't drink that. Generations of women have had children perfectly safely while drinking endless cups of coffee. And Lisa Harris says, isn't the blacksmith in Larkrise to Candleford actually Big Ron from EastEnders? Cooking is to be made compulsory. Yes, I heard Sarah talking about this. Going to be made compulsory in schools. We never had a domestic science in my Irish school. The Jesuits didn't care much about cooking. Maybe the MasterChef chefs will end up taking a class, so the whole country knows how to make a nice plate of food. There'll be no excuse for any shortcomings in the morning now, and we haven't had shortcomings or indeed shortcomings for some mornings. We've had the old English farmhouse breakfast at its very blazing best. We've had the West Country, we've had Anglia yesterday, and today, who knows what the basket will hold. And last night I was sitting, of course you were. You only do this to annoy me, don't you, Steve? Watching MasterChef. At the top of the show, John Turode, international MasterChef in his own right, of course, we haven't seen him cook anything yet, though, exclaimed, "This will change your life." Well, it certainly changed mine. I'm now hard of hearing. Cooking doesn't get any tougher than this. The only show you can watch without subtitles, MasterChef. Ah, what a week it's been. It's taken its toll of you, has it, Frank and Stevenage? And it's only Wednesday. Is it Wednesday already? Blimey. The weather's been all over the place. Stocks and shares have been all over the place. Still, at least you know where you are with Wake Up to Wogan. That's always been all over the place. That's right. London, New Zealand, China, Vietnam. As I watch MasterChef, it's extraordinary the numbers of you who watch MasterChef. Maybe it's because you know that I do, and shout along with the boys. As I watch, I'm intrigued by the number of contestants who seem to want to commit professional suicide. The delightfully morose voiceover artist. Yes, I don't know where they got her. India. Never tires of telling us things like, John is a high-flying city dealer, but longs to pack in his job to follow his dream of opening a bistro. Or Jane hates her job as a teacher and wants to change her career. Etc. Now, call me an idiot, but I can't help thinking that there'll only be one winner of this competition. That's correct. And then there might be an awful lot of prickly meetings with the bosses of the various losers. I'm sure these startling revelations scarcely play well at appraisal time. So, you didn't want to stay in the job then? You wanted to be a cook, did you? Well, off you go. So, speaking for myself, if one of my people came back, tail between their legs, so to speak, my well-worn phrase of, "You're fired," might well get an outing. That's from Sir Alan Sugar. A regular contributor to this programme, the long-suffering brother-in-law, Steve Taylor, is languishing in the Royal Marsden. Well, I'm glad that the fire that hit the Royal Marsden that didn't do irreparable damage, because they do wonderful work there. He's in the Bud Flanagan ward. Oh, underneath the arches, I dream my dreams away. Tell him everybody in Hereford's thinking of him. Well, I will, of course, Steve Taylor and all those people in the Royal Marsden. I know them well. Well, I know the Royal Marsden. My name is Mike, and I'm serving in Iraq. Oh, Mike Allison. Say a quick hello to my wife as she makes her way to work this morn. Around about now, sitting on the M40. That's what you do. On the M40, you just sit there and wait for your life to roll by. Andrea Allison, tell her I miss her, and I'll see her on our nearly 2-year-old boy very soon. Well, we wish you safety, Mike Allison, and all your fellow soldiers there in Iraq. And come back soon and come back safely. Moved here almost 2 years ago. Oh, really? Celia Claridge? Oh, well, we found you. Where are you? Oh, North Carolina in the United States, America. You're not having a caucus, are you, very shortly? Because if you are, we'll know all about it here, Celia. The old Barack Obama, and that nice Mrs. Clinton. And anyway, greetings to you, Celia. And I'm glad we're coming through loud and clear. The rays are piercing across the Atlantic. What have we got here? Yeah, I'm sure your togs are swift with the posting and packing. There's none like them. But the present Mrs. Dunn will have a breakdown if she doesn't get a fix of Janet and John. OK, www.togscalendar.org. Go to that and you'll find all. It'll be there before you. And Janet and John Reloaded will be by your side ere long. Well, anyway, she wants it because the shrink. You've got a shrink, have you, Ivor? Ivor been done. The shrink says laughing is good for her. There's nothing to laugh about in our marriage. Naomi's mum. I'm so glad you read out me email. You enjoyed all your treats. But Terry, my dear, luscious lovely, is delighted that you two did meet. Naomi, farmhouse breakfast. Oh, the angel. The team that deliver your breakfasts work hard to develop your tastes. With porridge and butties, a feast to remember. How hard they work hard. What a pace. And when farmhouse breakfast week is over, oh, Terry, what a dread. Those dear, delicious lovelies will be snugly tucked up in their bed. They will. I'm not looking forward to next week, I can tell you. Possibly an opportunity to lose some weight. Upon glancing at the new Radio Times yesterday, I know somebody who buys the Radio Times. Yeah. I saw the following offerings from the BBC this coming Sunday evening. Good. BBC 1, 9 o'clock, Waking the Dead. BBC 2, 10 o'clock, Jonestown, the world's biggest mass suicide. BBC 1, 10:20, One Foot in the Grave. And to complete your evening's enjoyment, at 10:50, a film, Tombstone. Is there somebody out there with a morbid sense of humour? That's from Helena Hancock in Cardiff. What ho, me old bare-armed barnstormers. Chuffer, good morning to you. A Shakespearean actor-manager resting at present and still searching for that white fiver that he loaned Larry all those years ago in Wyndham's. May I commend Deadly for his Wolverhampton nasal acting in your morning play yesterday. That was CSI Candleford. Yes, and we shall have another episode ere long. Don't say I haven't been adequately warned. That act Deadly, that's a style of acting long since passed out in favour, and unseen since the heyday of Amy Turtle. Now you're talking. I can see Deadly from where I'm sitting, which is lucky, and he's nodding in modest agreement. And he's just the man to bring it back. Can I praise Barrowland's bare arm acting? He's a modern-day Johnny Weissmuller. I don't recall you having a speaking part, Terry. Did I hear Lynn mention my old pal Winterbourne Selston yesterday? He'd a smashing act, involving a cylinder of helium, a hussar's helmet, and a cat. Unfortunately, he was never allowed to perform it. For as soon as the curtain went up, he was dragged off stage by the police, who were terrified as to what the act might actually entail. I think we can guess. Chuffer. 'Twas only yesterday that I was down and feeling glum. The shares had gone all pop again, and I wanted me old mum. But then I took up strength and wrote a winsome little ode, and hoped that maybe later I'd be back in happy mode. And guess what, Sir Tell? You came up trumps, and only in a short while the shares were up, the postman came, and the big cheque made me smile. And then on the phone was more good news, that the case had gone my way, thanks to you for brightening up a tale of woe that day. Horatio cured Birdbath, who's back home again, got some of it back, not lost it all. In Cornwall. I think I know that place. And John Duffy, who, like myself, was brought up on the great Flann O'Brien and Miles Nagopoline. A catechism of clichés. The other day it was MasterChef. Today it's EastEnders. So, questions. What have most of the residents of Albert Square invariably to do shortly after entering a scene? They gotta go. What interrogative phrase is the opener in any given conversation between two residents of the square? What's going on? In a physical confrontation, normally between two male protagonists, and in a view normally expressed by a nearby female, what is one of them not? Worth it. And how is it normally communicated to at least one protagonist that the female wishes for him to draw back from the confrontation? Leave him. What highly unlikely phrase is often spoken at the Queenbic by the bar staff? You take a seat, I'll bring the drinks over. And what, pray, must happen to things as a general rule in Albert Square? They have to be sorted. And what sort of business is it when the main issue pertains to the Clan Mitchell? A family matter. That sweet-talking woman. Not enough of them. the Electric Light Orchestra. Good morning, Ian. Talking a sweet talking woman, of course. Sarah Kennedy making her stately way back to her grand penthouse somewhere in London. I cannot divulge the address, otherwise you'd all be round there for a quick cup of cha. Although I've been a listener to your show for many years, I've been disgusted by the way you and your colleagues eat during the show and talk with your mouths full. You seem to be obsessed with food. The main topic on your show. No, filth is the main topic. Food is second. I like a good laugh, but this is certainly not funny. Anybody who says, I like a good laugh, has absolutely no sense of humour, have they? And it's the one thing you can never tell anybody, and particularly a man. Do you know you've no sense of humour? What? If I'm known for anything's my sense of humour. Anyway, I tuned in to the show one morning recently and thought I'd tuned in to The Simpsons at mealtime. Well, thank you. That's a compliment. In view of the efforts of many organisations in trying to educate people about obesity, I wish you'd refer to Fighting the Flab. Owen McQuaid. You weren't the Archbishop of Dublin when I was a young fellow, were you, Owen? As you're displaying some of the characteristics. I was in a bookshop yesterday, says Byron Bonnybanks of Loch Lomond, and overheard a lady asking one of the assistants for a book by Wogan. Which one? Asked the assistant, and the customer gave him a very old-fashioned look. Terry, she said. I see here, I'm sure this is going the rounds, but nonetheless, some of it's very funny. Entries to the Washington Post competition asking for a rhyme with the most romantic first line, but the least romantic second. Yes. What kind of diseased mind works that one out? I thought that I could love no other until, that is, I met your brother. Kind, intelligent, loving and hot. This describes everything you're not. I want to feel your sweet embrace, but don't take that paper bag off your face. My darling, my lover, my beautiful wife, marrying you screwed up me life. You see, romance, it's in the air. And I heard you announce this morning you're a bit of a fiddler. Well, as I say, watch this space. Well, says Graham of Ely, I've got some Taiwanese watches I need shifting. Could we meet after your fiasco to discuss your cut? Never mind my cut. It's just an old war wound. I think domestic science lessons, we've heard a lot of that, haven't we? This is the battle against obesity, to teach children how to cook. Rashers and egg and sausages and chips and general fattening stuff. I think domestic science lessons are a very good training for young ladies, says Hugh Bounder. That's where my latest squeeze, Cindy, learned how to make her lovely sponge cake. She's just coming up the stairs with my morning tea and saw that wonderful cake. There's nothing better than a nice bit. Cindy, morning. That's another matter. Yes, quite, Hugh. Reminds me of that thing the other night. Mistresses. I've never seen anything like it. Hey? All go. My husband and I were highly amused when we went to visit our daughter's school, says the secretary, to discuss her forthcoming food technology lessons. We were informed she'd learn how to prepare a nutritious bread-based snack. A sandwich? We're unwrapping yet another great British farmhouse breakfast. Well done, that man. Yes, at the old Gloucester old spot. I think I knew him well. And then there's the beef, and plenty of what can only be described. In fact, there is a plenitude of sausages. There's the longhorn beef. East Midlands fine foods. What? The black broccoli, yeah. And the red onion chutney, and the mustard, and the winter tea. The blend coffee beans. The ginger cheddar. Ginger cheddar? The Lincolnshire poacher. The meatloaf. Then, honestly, meatloaf? Is he here? What? No, surely not. That'll be the poacher. Good. Well, I expect you'll want me to carry on here, will you? The latest, I think this is great, from Beatrice. Beatrice says, the latest Marks & Spencer advert. This is not just a pair of Y-fronts. These are hand-stitched organic cotton Y-fronts, made from tender young cotton plants, lovingly harvested. combed and spun by dusky maidens high in the foothills of Nepal. This is not just a thong. This is a piece of lycra created by NASA's engineers, made to a design developed by fair trade architects, using computer software handwritten by Bill Gates. These are not just boxer shorts. These are woven from silk extracted from ancient Chinese silkworms, working to a traditional Oriental pattern passed down through the dynasties. This is not just underwear. This is the new Paxman range. Every morning this week we've had the old farmhouse breakfast. Does nothing better for setting you up for the day. It's been grand. I don't think I've ever seen quite so many sausages in my entire life. I'm talking of food, which in fact, the television, so there's no reason why the radio shouldn't be full of it. The television's up to its armpits in cooking, isn't it? If it's not Gordon Ramsay, bleeping all over the place. It's those MasterChefs. Hey, yes, you got me watching MasterChef now, says Tim Gustard. A complete Philistine, me, in the kitchen. Oh, then, MasterChef's just for you. Cooking just doesn't get any tougher than this. If this is so, why in a split decision at the end did the lassie who excelled in the pro kitchen lose? The bit in the pro kitchen is just to fill up, Doesn't make a lot of difference. I'd just like to know where the vetting process that goes into MasterChef, because there are manifestly, every evening, at least 2 people who shouldn't be let anywhere near a skillet or an oven. My dear wifey reminds me that she too had domestic science lessons as a young pupil. She remembers how before they were allowed to be bestowed with the secret art surrounding cheese on toast, egg on toast, tomatoes on toast, she first had to learn how to scrub her nails and also make her own hat to keep her hair out of the way. Well, these are the important things. The hygiene, the cleanliness.
Yep.
Who asked you?
Oh, sorry.
A later lesson on how to clean fish became useful recently as she passed on the knowledge to me after purchasing a fresh fish from the wizened fisherman in the harbour. I overcame my squeamishness, got to work and was pleased with the resultant feast. The fish, however, was gutted. Oh, for heaven's sake. I am the proud possessor of a much-coveted Tog sticker. Yes, most people like to put them way back in a drawer and not pretend they have them. I thought you might be interested in the prime position my sticker occupies. Yes, have a look at this. Albert Walsh, Deepest Burnley in Lancashire. Look at that. There he is. A Porsche Carrera. It's the fastest Tog sticker in the West. Well done, Albert. I like to see that. Yeah. Liege Lord of the Togs, I was wondering if you could interrupt your brilliantly scripted and excellently rehearsed show. Yes, indeed, but it does pay off 1,000-fold. Send my love and birthday wishes to the present Mrs. Dawson, Sue, of that ilk. Unfortunately, I'm in Norway at the moment. What took you there, Peter? A whaler? So, I can't do this for myself. However, she should just be completing the pre-flight checks on her broomstick, because she's flying out today to Stavanger. The fact that you're in Oslo, of course, is beside the point, isn't it? Quite a long way from Stavanger. I am Rebecca Sadler, and I'm 12. Rebecca Sadler? We could do with more like you. I'm giving up this keep fit lark. This is Lollipop. Yesterday, Nurse Amy, my future daughter-in-law, bless her, asked me to come and walk. Her and the dogs. But where me wellies, it might be muddy. Yes, walking is the thing, apparently. You walk away and the fat falls off. Not only was it muddy, but she walked me up and down Dale for 2 hours, and on the way, thinking I should wash, said wellies, I stepped into a puddle and did a Dawn French and got soaked. Got back to the car, and now I have 3 huge blisters on my toes. So answer me this, how is that keeping fit? I'm hobbling round the house, my legs are aching, as if I've run a marathon. The only exercise I'll be doing from now on is lifting an old glass. It's exactly 8 minutes past 9. I've treasured these moments of exact time checks because they're so rare. Oliver McTiernan will be with us. And within the hour, he's refusing a sausage. I don't know what's the matter with him. What have we got here? Hey, it's back to the calm of the Cotswolds. I'm glad to hear it, Rob. The old town hardly suits you. After a quick visit up to the smoke to see the wonderful Morrissey in concert. The present Mrs. Sinfield seemed to enjoy the show, although she spent much of the evening eyeing up Russell Brand. sitting a few seats away from us. Looked a bit of a scruff to me, but no accounting for taste. Look, steady, Russell's one of ours. Anyway, before treating us to his newest ditty, the venerable and indeed veritable Morrissey announced to the audience, "There is a God and it's called Radio 2. They're the only people who play my songs." Good old Morrissey. He's not that old. No. Further to the latest government initiative for compulsory cookery lessons, cookery is what we want. Obviously drawn up in the back of a fag packet, I have this picture in my mind of thousands of 5-watt energy-efficient light bulbs glowing over the little darlings' heads all over the country as they get a bright idea. "Here, Mum, I'm going to be a celebrity chef when I leave school." That's it. Everybody at school now, instead of doing media studies, will want to be doing the cookery so that they could end up, bless them, like Jamie Oliver or Gordon Ramsay or Herbie Whittingstall, or whatever his name is. The obvious natural progression to these lessons will be a new government initiative for a celebrity chef university degree course. Well, I see no reason why not. And there's a university not far from here that does aromatherapy as a degree course, thus preparing them for their career, and I think also bricklaying, and thus preparing them for their career in front of the cameras. And this, of course, would teach them basic skills like how to slice and dice an onion without losing half your fingers, dropping copious amounts of salt from a great height on everything, and cooking everything in half a pound of butter. That's the healthy option. I'd like to suggest some bolt-on modules for this celebrity chef university degree course. The Jamie Oliver module, how to speak Mockney with a lisp, and how to look like a right prat riding a scooter, how to cultivate a load of mates to help you eat your blinding food. The Gordon Ramsay module, how to get the most expletives into a sentence, how to motivate people by getting excited, jumping up and down on the spot, and punching your hand with your fist. Oh, that hurt. MasterChef module, how to shout into people's faces, how to look at the ceiling and flutter your eyelids when saying something profound, and how to put a good fork full of food in your gob without inflicting a mortal wound to the back of your throat. And Clodagh Rubbish says, "And these thunder bags from M&S, would the said items be produced by the same people who gave us miracle caffeine-impregnated slimming tights? Used by the salesman's dream, my friend Mad Maggie. Maggie purchased and used the said hosiery. This is miracle caffeine-impregnated slimming tights. You see, $7.50 the pair, to be worn once and then discarded every day for a fortnight. By the end of the fortnight, she'd therefore lost £105 sterling, 3 inches off her wallet, and said tights being glossy finish, her trousers, which slid spectacularly to the ground in full view of 2 nuns and a touring rugby team. Are your good self and Dame Judy at risk, do you think? It's a lovely, lovely sky over London this morning, and there is a growth in the mornings. It's not quite as dark now, so we're looking on the bright side. Sort of pinky sky this morning. Hope it doesn't, it's not a harbinger of something. Although my day's job's really nice, I'd really rather write, and so by way of compromise, I pen this kind of short contribution to Wake Up to Wogan. Thank you, Des Custard. We know who you are, in Tunbridge Wells. And of course, you can't work with Ken Bruce or Barrowlands Boyd and not know that tonight is the great night, Burns Night. And have I got some poems for you? All along the lines of the great McGonagall. 'Tis the day the Scots folk feasts on the wee elusive beast, Caledonians near and far sup deep upon the Ishkabar. In honour of the bard of old, Rabbie with his verses bold, Queen of puddings, a loud hurrah, the golden-skinned, deep-fried Mars-bar. Brucey has written, because I mentioned that I'd like to see him dance that Sister Sledge number. Terry, my lad, how dare you take the mickey out of my dancing? As a challenge, I want you on this Saturday, okay? Brucey, you may count upon it, except that I know the series is not going at the moment. And, of course, it raises an enormous amount of money for children in need. Incidentally, speaking of children in need, we'll have a great surprise for you when we get to the final total, because it has exceeded expectations. I'm so pleased to say, and I'm sure you are as well. So, it is this time of the year again, says Katie Mallet, and Katie, as always, has some poetry. Let's hear it for old Robbie Burns, the bard of Scottish pride, who wrote some pretty potent lines, it cannot be denied, and so celebrate his muse, we'll make the bagpipes wail, and dine on haggis till we're stuffed, and drink till all words fail. And, says Katie, I hear that scientists are making artificial bacteria. As if there weren't enough bacteria in the world already. What about making some pandas, or rhinos, or water voles, or sparrows? Having spent 20 years receiving complaints from my children's schools about their bad behaviour, welcome to the club, Gavin. Gavin quietly. I've been enjoying a few months' respite since the youngest went to university in Manchester. Yeah, same as mine. And this morning I received a telephone call from the warden of the care home where my aged mother now resides, asking if I could have a word with her about her newly acquired habit of verbally bullying the staff and other residents. What I want to know is, when will it be my turn to behave badly? And who will people call to sort me out? Just to offer it up, Gavin. Enjoy the little bit of peace you have, as long as it lasts. It won't be long. And now, we proudly present CSI Candlesummer. The players.
Boggy playing his part again.
Inspector Midwinter, Alan Dedicoat.
Yes, indeed, a very good
WPC Dorcas Knight, Lynn Bowl.
Right.
Right. Josiah Berryweather, a lovable rogue from the village of Clockpies. Oh. And also our proud narrator, said he, Wogan. Sniffles, Midwinter Snout, Beryl Boyd.
That's me.
Despite... He's underplaying. Despite having been recently deceased, lovable rogue Josiah Berryweather has made a miraculous recovery.
Crikey, Dorcas! Crikey!
Oh,
what a cruel twist of fate.
Oh,
Josiah Berryweather making a miraculous recovery and then becoming the Commissioner of Police. Would you believe it? Do you think he'll take umbrage at me having shot him?
He's overplaying.
Do you think?
He takes too long.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. He seemed like a decent stick as he lay there, expiring. I shouldn't worry, Inspector.
Oh, bust him. I'd hate to think he was upset at me. Look, here he comes now. Ooh, but he doesn't look too best pleased, does he?
Midwinter, me old pal, me old beauty. Don't he be worrying about me taking a guinea for shooting me.
Say, sir, I told you he was going to be okay about it.
No need for it to call him Sir, Dorcas. He'll be nothing more than the humble PC now, OR, and Mr. Sniffles will be your new boss.
Oh, look out.
That's right, it's Chief Inspector Sniffles now. Oh. Midwinter, I'd like you and PC Dorcas to take out the very dangerous and, quite frankly, death trap of a gig and go and nick some rich folk in Candlesummer.
God, for God's sake, can you speed up?
Sorry.
And mind ye don't come to grief going down a treacherous hill, atween here and Clark Pies. So, easy. So with a grim foreboding, Midwinter and Dorcas set out as instructed. Optional clip-clop noises.
You can do that.
Anybody got a coconut?
Okay.
Close enough. Okay.
What's that terrible scraping noise, sir?
It's a temporary skin condition. I'm sorry about that. The doctor's given me ointment for it. I'll stop scratching if you like.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah.
Go on.
Oh no!
Go on.
It's come off of me hand.
Oh God.
The break, I mean. The gig is careering down the hill, out of control. We're doomed.
Oh, it's
Okay.
It's Berryweather's doing.
Change here.
I saw him talking to the director yesterday when we came off, darling.
Oh.
We've been written out, love. We've been written out. Infamy.
Oh, God.
I knew he had it in for me. My agent will hear about this. I've been written out of this damn thing. I've been written out. Out.
Wait, come back.
Come back.
I'm coming back.
You've got a noise.
I'm coming back. Ah! Ooh! Now I'm going again now.
Why do I have to do everything here?
I'm going again.
Settle their hash. Ha 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 ha.
I say, Terry.
Easy, I'm still laughing.
Timing.
Oh, ha.
I say, could you pass me a towel, please? I'd like to get out of the shower now.
I can't believe it, Barrowlands. It's all been a dream. None of it's happened at all. No Clark pies to candle summer. It's all been nothing more than a very vivid dream that's lasted for an entire season. Wilhelm, back to the music then, I suppose.
I suppose.
The end.
Oh,
Thank heavens. It's finished.
masterly.
Just for a moment there, we sounded like the Steve Wright Show.
I'm going to have a shower now, I think.
Wake up to Wogan!
This was a podcast from BBC Radio 2. Don't forget you can also download free podcasts for Steve Wright, Russell Brand and Chris Evans. Get more information now at bbc.co.uk/Radio 2 and wake up to Wogan every weekday morning from 7:30, online, on digital and on 88 to 91 FM.